A few years ago, I worked at an outreach center for teenagers. Kids coming out of sixth grade, going all the way into 12th grade. And the commonality was a lot of these kids were going through crisis. They didn't necessarily have stable home lives. 91% of the kids did not live with their mom and dad together. A lot of the kids have never met their dad. So we would actually come to Camp Forest Springs for, I don't know, 25 years they've been coming here in the winter for camp. And we do all the same kinds of things that you do because a kid is a kid is a kid is a kid. Doesn't matter the circumstances. You all have the same core needs to feel loved, to feel accepted, to know you're not alone, that God loves you without strings. But when I was brand new at this ministry, I got a call, like maybe on my second day, and it was a dad who didn't know anything about us, but he saw a story in the news, and he knew we were experts in working with kids in crisis, and they put him through to my line. Have you ever seen movies, you guys, with the stockbrokers, and they're all screaming and barking at each other, and they're yelling across the floor, and that's where this dad worked, and he was a big boss there. And so they put him through to me, and I, hello, answer the phone, and he starts screaming and barking at me. Turns out his 14-year-old daughter got in trouble, broke the rules, they got in a big fight, and she stormed out of the house and she didn't come home. And it had been over a day now. She probably went to a friend's house, right? But it had been over a day now. And this father, ooh, there was fury. And he was yelling at me, and he was saying, we're going to disconnect her phone, and we're going to take all the stuff out of her room and throw it out in the yard, and have the locks change on the house and see how she likes that. And he went on and on. And finally, after about 7 minutes of that, I interrupted him. I said, "Sir, do you think it's possible your daughter's afraid to come home? Because right now I'm kind of afraid. And I don't even know you." And I said, "You must be scared to death. You don't know where your daughter is." You guys, I could see his reaction growing out of fear. Sometimes that's why parents freak out. They just they haven't gone through this before and they're scared to death. A little cute little 5-year-old Hudson Budson. I'm with Hudson Budson and we're walking across the street and he stepped out before it turned green and there was a car coming. And I screamed, "Hudson!" Because I was scared. I didn't mean to scare him. And I said to this dad, what if instead of all those things, changing the locks and turning off her phone and showing her how awful her life's going to be without you, what if you sent her a text and said, "Hey, honey, your mom and I are really worried about you. And we want you to know it's safe to come home. Actually, right now, that's all that matters. We want you to come home. The front door is wide open. You can go right up to your room. We don't even have to talk about it today. We can talk about it later. We just want to know you're safe." I said, "I bet that's what your daughter's been waiting to hear for almost 2 days." And it's dead quiet on the phone. And then he says, "Yeah, so do you think you could type that out for me?" So maybe that's an extreme example. I don't know what you guys are going home to tomorrow. I know that in a group of this size, there's probably some strife. I know in a group of this size, there's probably lots of you who your whole life, you've had fun with your parents and you've had a great relationship and you've got along. And I don't know, it's just something's been different the last few months. Or something's been different since junior high started. There's just like a little more smile and nod if you know what I'm talking about. Something's different. It seems like they're mad at me all the time, or I'm mad at them all the time. I wonder where that comes from. I've got a little video clip that I'm having trouble getting started. Maybe the guys in the sound booth can help me.
So, as it turns out, the green trash can is not recycling. It's for greens, like compost and eggshells. And the blue one is recycling. And the black one
Riley is acting so weird. Why is she acting so weird?
What do you expect? All the islands are down.
Joy would know what to do.
That's it. Until she gets back, we just do what Joy would do.
Great idea. Anger, fear, disgust. How are we supposed to be happy?
Hey, Riley, I've got good news. I found a junior hockey league right here in San Francisco. And get this, tryouts are tomorrow after school. What luck, right?
Hockey?
Uh-oh, what do we do?
Guys, here, you pretend to be Joy.
Wouldn't it be great to be back out on the ice?
Oh, yeah, that sounds fantastic.
What was that? That wasn't anything like Joy.
Because I'm not Joy?
Yeah, no kidding.
Did you guys pick up on that?
Sure did.
Something's wrong.
Should we ask her?
Let's probe, but keep it subtle so she doesn't notice. So, how was the first day of school?
She's probing us.
I'm done. You pretend to be Joy.
What? Okay,
It was fine, I guess. I don't know. Oh, very smooth. That was just like Joy.
Something is definitely going on.
She's never acted like this before. What should we do? We're gonna find out what's happening, but we'll need support. Signal the husband.
Ahem.
Uh-oh, she's looking at us. What did she say?
What? Oh, sorry, sir. No one was listening.
Is it garbage night? We left the toilet seat up. What? What is it, woman? What?
He's making that stupid face again.
I could strangle him right now.
Signal him again.
So, Riley, how was school?
You gotta be kidding me.
For this, we gave up that Brazilian helicopter pilot?
Boo, I'll be Joy.
School was great, all right?
Riley, is everything okay?
Sir, she just rolled her eyes at us.
What is her deal?
All right, make a show of force. I don't want to have to put the foot down.
No, not the foot.
Riley, I do not like this new attitude.
Oh, I'll show you attitude. No. Stay happy.
What is your problem? Just leave me alone.
Sir, reporting high levels of sass.
Take it to DEFCON 2.
You heard that, gentlemen? DEFCON 2.
Listen, young lady, I don't know where this disrespectful attitude came from.
You want a piece of this, Pops? Come and get it.
Yeah, well...
Here it comes. Prepare the foot.
Keys to sector position. Ready to launch on your command, sir.
Just shut up!
Fire!
That's it. Go to your room. Now.
The foot is down. The foot is down.
Good job, gentlemen. That could have been a disaster.
Well, that was a disaster.
Come, fly with me, Gachinya.
Can you advance my slide, please? You guys, can you relate to that clip? It kind of spirals out of control. I think there's something going on, okay? And here's what it is. It's this perfectly normal, natural change in relationship. You're changing from little kid on your way to adult. But here's the thing. No one gave parents a direction book in a master's class on how to do that perfectly. So they don't do it perfectly. And surely no one gave you an instruction book how to do it, so you don't do it perfectly. And then we have this awkward, clumsy way of connecting. And it develops strife, it develops conflict, all these different things. I also worked at a Christian college, Crown College in Minnesota. Really loved working there. I got to know a lot of the students. And one of the students was a freshman named Jake. I knew Jake in high school, and then he came to the college, and he comes into my office one day at the college, maybe about 8 weeks into the school year. And we're just talking and catching up, and he goes, "Oh, my parents are so annoying." And he starts to complain about his parents, saying they won't treat me like an adult. So I asked him some probing questions. I just observed what I saw. I'm like, "Jake, you always look put together. Like, are you the only boy in college who irons his clothes?" And he goes, "Well, no, because I live close. So, like, I go home on the weekend and my mom does my laundry." I go, "Oh, okay. You go home? Is that a long walk?" "Well, no, I have a car because, like, my dad got a new car, so I've got my dad's old car." "Are you serious? Doesn't gas cost a ton of money?" "Well, no, because they gave me this gas card that I use, and then I can just go to the gas station and I just put gas in the car." And we keep going on, and I go, "Whoa, you've got the new iPhone? My phone's like 3 phones older than that." "Yeah, because my mom, she gets a new one for work, and then I get her old one. And da, 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 da." And I go, "Jake, it sounds to me like there's a lot of areas where you still enjoy being treated like a kid. And that's okay. But do you think it's fair that your parents know every moment of the day exactly when you want to be treated like a kid, where they do your laundry and they buy you things and they give you a car, and then on other things they know exactly when you want to be treated like an adult?" That's got to be kind of hard to figure out. So treat me like an adult, it's earned. You have to start taking steps toward that. It's almost like you have to demonstrate some of that adultishness before you can say, "Hey, I deserve it." Jake, you could say to your parents, "I've been thinking about it, and you guys are already making this huge sacrifice for me to be at college, and I know I can't do everything on my own. I'm still going to need a lot of help. But I got this part-time job in the coffee shop at the school, and I thought it'd be good if I started paying for my own gas." Jake, if you did that to your parents, they would be like, who just called? Who is this kid? Wait, it's our kid growing up, being responsible. So I want to give you guys a couple of tips before you go home tomorrow. This is going to be a fast crash course in communicating 101 with your parents so that you can have an even better relationship. If you've already hit an awkward bump, this might help you navigate the bump. If you haven't hit the awkward bump, this might help you steer clear of it. First thing, I see you. If I asked 100 kids, "Hey, what does your dad do for work?" I don't think 100 kids could answer that question articulately. He he travels, right? I don't know if they think about all the interest our parents take in us. They literally watch everything we do. And they're our biggest cheerleaders, and they go to everything. And then they ask us questions even when it annoys us. And a lot of times, we don't reciprocate with the same interest in them. That's part of growing up. Saying, "Wait a minute, I'm going to start to emulate what I see them doing in my life back to them." It might go something like this. It might go something like, if you like to write notes, you write a little note to your dad, and you leave it on his dresser. And you say, "Hey, Dad, I just was thinking about it, and I want you to know I see how hard you work. You not only have a full-time job, but on the weekends you mow the lawn and you trim the bushes, and then you're always fixing the car, and you even fill it up with gas so Mom doesn't have to. And then around the house, anything that breaks, we come to you because you know how to fix things." And the other day, I did something at school, and my teacher complimented me, and I said, you know what? My dad taught me that. You guys, that would knock his socks off. Or what if you said something to your mom one day in the car, you know, when you normally have your headphones on, and you go, Mom, I was thinking about you today, and I realized that it's so hard for me to wake up for school at 6:47. But you wake up even before me because breakfast is always made. And I don't know when you do the laundry because it's not done when I go to bed, and it is done when I wake up. So you must be staying up later serving me that way too. And then you go to work just like I go to school. I don't know, I just want to let you know I noticed that. Or how about those really powerful words, I love you. Ooh, those are hard words to say if you're not used to saying it. A long time ago, I worked at a middle school. This was so long ago, it's before people had phones in their pockets. And you had to like ask to use your teacher's phone if you wanted to call your parents for a ride or say, can I go home with so-and-so on the bus? And so every so often someone would come and say, can I use your phone? I got to call my mom. And I would always say the same thing. You sure can. If before you hang up, you say, I love you. And it was so funny, you guys, to see kids, Mom, I need a ride, and I'm hungry, and I need Subway. And then I would look at him and go, and he'd look at me like, I'm like, and I love you. And I'm going, I want to know what that mom on the other end of the phone was thinking when she heard that. But do they hear it enough? I know you guys, a lot of you hear it. Here's kind of a fun idea. It awkward proofs that conversation. Go in your bathroom, take a bar of soap, or go in your mom's bathroom, your dad's bathroom. Write it on the mirror. Wouldn't that be a fun surprise that they walk into one day? Here's another idea for you, and we're going to actually practice. Talk! Did you see in that video? She starts shutting down when the parents ask questions, and there's just sometimes, you guys, I get it, when we don't want to talk. I'm like that a lot. And there's sometimes we just have to do it because it's polite, it's respectful, it's honoring. Here's what I lived with for 10 months. I would drive to go pick up Adam at school, or Thomas or Ricardo, and if I was so much as 3 minutes late, Adam would get in my car and go, you're always late, and it's so cold, and I wait. And I would go, so you know I drove 50 minutes round trip. I'm sorry I kept you waiting for 3. And then here was the most rich part of our drive back, 90% of the time. And if it wasn't him, it was the other one in the back. Great company. So tomorrow, you guys are going to get picked up. You're going to be exhausted. I am exhausted. Camp is exhausting in a good way. And then you're going to get into a familiar place. You're going to get into your car. And in a familiar place, we slip into familiar habits. And your parents, who, by the way, miss you like crazy and are thinking about you every day, even when you're not thinking about them, and they're so excited because they've made this huge sacrifice to send you here. Like, they could have took a real vacation. They could have spent that money and bought really nice stuff for themselves. And they want to hear how your week went. And I hope that this isn't what happens straight away. It's a long ride home. You can do that at some point. But you guys, straight away, you know what would be the coolest thing in the world? is if you get in the car and they say, "How was camp?" And you say, "I had a great week at camp. I want to tell you all about it." So right now we're going to practice. With the person or two next to you, let's take about 45 seconds. And here's what I'm going to ask for. Don't start yet. I want you to think of your two most interesting things about camp. It could be a funny thing that happened with your counselor. It could be your favorite activity you did. It could be the most crazy thing you learned this week. It could be the new friend that you made. Think of two of the most interesting things about camp that you are going to share with your parents. I want you to practice those words coming out of your mouth right now. Take about 45 seconds, and then the next person will share. Go. Okay, switch. If you haven't shared yet, switch. If you're done, okay, give me your eyes. There may be sour smoochy lips involved. If someone shared something that you think is particularly awesome, raise your hand, and I want to hear it. And let's start right here. Okay.
The Elsa lip sync thing.
The Elsa lip sync, why was that remarkable?
It was great. It was awesome. They did it
Okay.
so well.
Okay. I don't have sour smoochie lips for everyone, but I've got for some. Okay, who else has got an awesome, awesome thing to share?
We wrestled each other in our cabin.
All right, who won?
It was kind of a tie between me and Soren.
I think there's going to be a tie break tonight, I'm guessing. Okay, let's see. How about right here?
Probably making awesome memories with my friends, laying in bed and we can't stop laughing, trying to go to sleep, and having awesome memories.
Do you guys know that the joy that would bring your parents' heart to hear something like that? They have no bigger hope for you than that you would make friends at camp. Okay, let's hear over here.
We played poker.
We played poker. There are no sour smoochies for that, but that's a new skill.
Shooting a piece of paper off an egg with an air rifle.
That is very unique. You guys, this just goes to show you've got all kinds of things you could talk about. And those first few minutes in the car are going to set the tone. They're going to set the tone not only for the drive home, but maybe for the week, or maybe for the rest of summer, or maybe, if you're consistent, even throughout junior high and beyond. In John 13, starting at verse 34, if you have your Bible, please open to John chapter 13. And it looks like I got a typo on the reference between my two slides here. Honor your father and mother, and love your neighbor as yourself. So we know it's a command from God to honor our mother and father. In the same way I loved you, love one another. This is how everyone will recognize that you're my disciples. That last statement. This is how everyone will recognize you're my disciples. I think this clears something up because we might be tempted to think, well, I can honor my mom and dad when I'm not tired, when I'm not annoyed. No. Honor your mother and father. I can honor my mother and father when I agree with them, but you know what? They're wrong a lot. And you know what? One's not even a Christian. And the other one, he didn't even go to church all the time. This is how everyone will recognize that you're my disciples. Think of it a different way, you guys. When we choose to be obedient to God by being obedient to our parents, when we honor our parents, that's an act of worship between us and God. So now that kind of levels the field and goes, even if mom didn't say it nice to me, my part, my response is honor. Even if I don't like that rule, my response as worship to God is honor. It's because we are acknowledging that all the authority over us is God-given. We started the week talking about God being omnipotent. He's all-powerful. God has allowed the authority. He's appointed the authority over us. There's going to be some times when it's not fair. There's going to be times when other people make mistakes or sin. But us getting our heads right about the act of worship between us and God and how we respond to our parents, that's a big, big job to do. So today when you go to your cabin times, there's some fun questions that'll springboard out of this conversation where you have a chance to brag on your parents, just like they brag on you. You have a chance to share some of those things that are your highlights from camp. Practice for tomorrow. And let's see, I need a boy and a girl, someone who would say they're fairly coordinated. Fairly coordinated. Okay. No. Okay, right there. Yep. Coming up. And right here, coming up. I'm going to teach you a trick. Okay. Who have we got? Brinley from, where are you from? Marshfield? And Dash from? Balsam 2. Okay, and you each get a potato. You guys, these are regular old potatoes. They're not baked. They're not soft. It's just a potato from the grocery store. And I'm going to teach them a trick. I just did this in my room on my first try. I took a plastic straw from McDonald's and I stabbed it through the potato, and I'm going to show you how to do it, okay? Sometimes it takes me 2 tries. This time I did it on my first. I brought some extra straws just in case. They're still wrapped, so you know I haven't messed with them. Okay? Yep, you can open it up. You guys can try this at home. Here's the trick to it. You have to take your thumb and plug the top. So we're making this airtight seal. Okay? And then the key is in the form. You're not going to get this straw through with your brute strength. So don't overdo it with your strength. You'll just crush the straw. The key is the technique. You have to follow through. So you have to picture that straw going through. Don't stop here. Don't jam it in. Just follow through. Follow through. You guys, you have wonderful ideas. You've all shared them with your partner. Doesn't make any difference if you don't follow through. Okay? It'll only work. These ideas on how to improve your communication with parents only work if you follow through. So, when you're ready, give it a shot and see if you can get your straw through. Oh, you got on your first try. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. You got it. That's good. That's good. That's good. All right, you guys, give them a hand. Give them a hand. I'm going to leave these potatoes up here. You can take yours. And, oh, he's eating his raw potato. You guys have a good time in your cabin groups. Have a good day.